You're listening to Permission to Shine, the podcast by Charisse Bisram. The Oxford Dictionary describes permission as the action of officially allowing someone to do a particular thing, consent, authorization. What if you were that someone and you gave yourself the permission to be everything you wanted to be and more? No more playing small and accepting less than. You are worthy of the life of your dreams, regardless of what it is that you've been through. And honestly, it's exactly what you've been through that has shaped you into the version of yourself that you are now. Like a diamond, you've endured so much, but instead of breaking, you have become stronger and brighter. And if that's not a reason to shine, then I don't know what is. And if nature can do it, then why the hell can't you? You are brave, you are strong, you are powerful, and you are enough. Hear my call and give yourself the permission to shine, because you don't realise how many people are inspired by your light. Like, share, follow, subscribe, and listen out for more. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 4. Today it is just me, and we are focusing on how to harness your power, your energy, your vibration. So it might be a tiny bit woo-woo, so I apologise for those of you that aren't into spirituality, but hopefully you gain a little bit more insight today. And I'm just going to be kind of having a conversation with you. So really nice, light-hearted, and hopefully insightful for you. So as you probably know, I always say you are the only you there is, and that is your superpower. So what I mean by that is that we are all unique and we are all individual. We all have individual things that make us up to be the version of ourselves. So what I mean by that is that although, yes, we're all human beings and we all have very much similarities in different areas of our lives, generally the making of who we are is completely different. You know, our likes, our dislikes, our strengths, our weaknesses, all of these things make up us as a being. And that in itself is a concoction of just beauty and excellence. And yes, I know you're going to be thinking, well, I don't really feel that beautiful or that excellent. Maybe you're feeling that way. And that's okay if you don't see that light, but that is who you are, you know. So your limiting beliefs or other people's opinions of you have made you feel like you as an entity are not that, but you absolutely are. And it's about understanding that you being all of those things that you are is your superpower, is unique, and how you can harness that even more and utilize it. So for me, it is about self-awareness. Self-awareness is the key to everything. And I tell you what, the moment I became self-aware, doors started opening. I started having revelation moments, aha moments. Now, there is also obviously the polarity here is that the great thing about self-awareness is that we understand ourselves on a deeper level. We're aware of our strengths and weaknesses. We can utilize it. We can harness it. The downside to it is the fact that obviously we can then become self-critical and we can influence our self-saboteur and we can go down a spiral. So like everything, we have to find a balance within it. But when you understand, knowledge is power. You know, again, we're connected to that power part here. That again will open up so many doors for you. So if you have never thought about your strengths and weaknesses, that is what I'm going to urge you to do right now. So for me, for example, now in this very moment, and who I am as a person now, I would say that my strengths are being compassionate, being understanding. I'm very motivated. I am kind. I am nurturing. I am strong. I am a good person, a good friend. I have strong boundaries. That's a few of my strengths. Weaknesses, I'm impatient. I was short-tempered. I wouldn't say I am anymore, actually, which I'm quite proud of. I've worked through that. There we go. Self-awareness keys there. Yeah, I'm definitely still impatient. You know what? I've never got to a point in my life where I've struggled to find weaknesses, and I know I've got some, but I think because I've done so much work I lived so much in my weaknesses for so long that it's quite nice to actually be in this space where I'm like, oh, and everyone that knows me that's listening is thinking, I've got some weaknesses for you, love.
but yeah, I mean, obviously we could nitpick till the cows come home. You know, it could be that I don't structure everything as efficiently as most people would, and actually sometimes I do structure things. It depends on what I'm doing, you know. But maybe it's the fact that I'm a free spirit, that could be seen as a weakness to some people, but to myself I don't feel like it is one. So I think it's about, again, when we understand that and those parts of ourselves, we can pull them apart. It doesn't have to be black and white. It can be very multicolored, you know, in the sense of, you know, like the strength of being compassionate can be excellent as a strength, but equally, if we're too compassionate, we could be a people pleaser. So it's finding balance within all of it. You know, we could pull these apart a million times over, and I do urge you to do that at some point in your life, because that again is where we understand ourselves deeper, and we can use that as fuel for our fire, really, to find that power and that energy that we need to be. But yeah, understanding your strengths obviously and your weaknesses, seeing them and seeing how you can utilize them. So for me, impatience, obviously, most of the time it's with myself and with, you know, like, dare I say it, I don't want to say it out loud because they're going to hear me, the universe, I want my manifestations yesterday. But again, I understand that time is not linear. Time is linear in the 3D realm where we are existing now, but in the spiritual realm, if you believe in that, like I said, it's going to be woo-woo, is it doesn't exist. So the universe, the energy, whatever is surrounding us, they don't know when time is. So your manifestation is going to come in divine timing. And that always gets me, that little bit, it's like, ugh, that divine timing moment that I'm like, can I just have it already? And the universe is like, no, you've got more lessons to learn. I'm like, but why? So yeah, it's a spiral. It goes on. I did tell you all that I had a weird personality, didn't I? I hope I mentioned that before in one of my other episodes. I mean, you're seeing it in this episode today. But yeah, again, that could be seen as a weakness or a strength, who knows? And I think, you know what I want to make clear is that I'm not labeling these strengths and weaknesses to be a thing. So what I mean by that is I'm not putting a sticker on it and being like, well, that is a strength and that is a weakness. It's a tool to help you find self-awareness. So please don't delve too much into the making or breaking of it. Like I said, there's polarities to everything. But once we understand that, like, again, things like talents, what are your talents? Are you an incredible chef? Are you good at drawing, at painting, at makeup, at singing, whatever it is that your strength? Are you good at that? Is that your talent? You know, incredible. What you're not so good at, you don't need to worry about. Do you know what I mean? Like, unless you're in a career where you are, I don't know, doing economics and you're bad at maths. I mean, you know, so that's when it becomes an issue. And I think that's actually probably quite a powerful statement there, because I feel like a lot of us are living our life and making a living to simply exist. Now, this is where we harness our power. And this is really the kind of pinnacle of why I'm doing this episode today, is that if you are not doing what you love or following your passion to some extent in your life, that is where you are feeling burnt out and in lack. Because what happens is we are then so focused on the mundane that we are not living in the colourful beautifulness of our talents and our strengths. So I understand that we need to obviously pay our bills. That is an essential thing. But when you don't have play and creativity in your life, that again is what creates these feelings of emptiness, because it's the play and the fun and the creativity that make us feel fulfilled. Now, obviously, not everyone is lucky enough to do what they love every day for their career. I get it. I absolutely get it. But where can you make space in your life for that? I hear all the time, I don't have time. I'm not going to lie, my G. It's not that you don't have time. You are not making time. Okay. And that is the difference. It's like you either make excuses or you make it happen. And that's the real tea. Like, that's just me talking from my deepest truth. And I know, because I've been one of those people, and I've also identify that in myself. Like, I can see where I've made excuses. And again, this is the self-awareness part. When you're aware of it, you can be honest and be like, you know what? To be honest, that's not my thing. I'm not going to be prioritizing that. And then that's again a boundary as well. When you know yourself, you know what you like, you dislike, you know what's a priority and what isn't a priority. I was going to say what not's a priority. That's not a word. That's where obviously we find we find out more about ourselves, you know, the energy, the flow. And when we have these, again, kind of their masculine principles, you know, structure, understanding, well, I'd say understanding is probably a polarity, but, you know, having the structure of knowing ourselves, the self-awareness, the boundaries, all of these things, when we understand them all together, that's what makes up the whole human of us, right? So the self-awareness is obviously our strengths and weaknesses, our talents, maybe the things that we don't enjoy doing, the things we do enjoy doing. That's all the self-awareness game. Now, I mentioned boundaries. Now, with the boundaries, the easiest way, like I said, is your priorities and your non-priorities are the easiest way to do that. That's also with you can do it with people as well. And I know that seems like quite a harsh thing to do, but it's the only way that you're going to be able to function efficiently and harness your power. So what I like to say is, I mean, all of this is in my journal as well, by the way. So if anyone is interested in my journal, link is always in the description, but you could just write it down on paper as well. And I write a list of the people in my life that I need to speak to every day. So, you know, if it's my close family, you know, a partner, whoever it is that you know you need to speak to every day, obviously your children, things like that. The next list could be, and also on that list could be friends, you know, work colleagues, you know, it can have those people. The second list is people that don't need your undivided attention. So there are some friends that just want to chit chat. They don't need to be on the list of priorities. There are, I don't know, like mother-in-laws and, you know, things like people like that that are not an immediate response. That's who you want to put on those lists. And I think when you can see those two clear lists, and I like to do it in a circle as well. So if I put the inner circle is my people of like non-negotiable, my absolute priority, and the outer one is like the negotiable. So the people that I don't need to speak to every day, the people that are not the top list of priorities, that helps me then be able to understand you know, where I'm putting my time. Because if you find that you're, you know, you pick up your phone to respond to an email and you end up responding to 5 different WhatsApp messages, is that an effective use of your time? I mean, yes, obviously, if you have that moment, you want to do that, absolutely fine. But that is where we come to that point of, you know, making excuses and not. You're wasting your time doing things that are not essential and not a priority for you. In that time, maybe you spent an hour on your phone, you know, responding to people. You might have looked on social media for a bit. You've killed an hour. Well, in that hour, you could have been doing the thing you loved. You could have been, you know, making art or baking a cake. You know, like, this is what I mean about using our time efficiently, and you make excuses or you make things happen. And so many of us, again, are not self-aware. We're living our life in this zombie-like state of just existing. You know, you might have your breakfast at a certain time, lunch at a certain time, dinner at a certain time, and do the same routine, the same pattern, the same commute to work, the same commute home. We are just existing. It's what I like to say, it's a bit like Lego Movie. I don't know if anyone's seen it, but it's like you know, these characters are like, everything is awesome, and then you doing the same thing, and then one of the characters is like, hold on a minute, this is not awesome. Like, what is going on here? And it's because we become so used to the mundane. And actually, to be honest, no one is singing everything is awesome when it's like feeling mundane, are they? And we just become tired of life. And, you know, my friend is a comedian, and she says it's about, like, she's life tired, and it does get like that. It's draining doing the same boring things. Like, how can you spice up your life in a way that uses and harnesses your power? And it's utilizing your talents, your strengths, and the things you love to do. Like, don't get me wrong, if socializing and seeing friends is like one of your things that you love, make time for that, make effort for that. But what I will say on all of these things as well is that we're so busy doing the next thing, looking out for other people, and, you know, doing our job and things like that, that we forget to prioritize ourselves. Now, this is where, you know, doing these tools like understanding your strengths and weaknesses, things like that, are going to come in really handy, because you can also do that with the things again, your talents, things you like to do, and make sure you find time once a week to do one of those things. And, you know, if you can't do something physical, like go to play golf or, you know, actually go out and do it, is how can you find moments of stillness in your day? You know, like that moment you picked up your phone to like respond to the message or whatever. In that time, say you wanted to listen to your friend's voice note, whatever, could you sit and make yourself a cup of tea, have a moment of stillness while you make the tea, then listen to the message? You know, it's finding those times, because constantly we are giving out energy. So you're giving out energy to your friends, to work, to your family, to your partner, to your kids. All of this stuff is giving out your energy and your time. Well, time, yeah, I guess it's tied into it, but it's energetic exchanges are constantly happening. So what's happening is all day you're giving out your energy. What are you doing to replenish that energy? I always say you can't give from an empty cup, right? So if you're constantly pouring outwardly, something needs to pour inwardly towards you. And I know that sometimes, obviously, our exchanges with, loved ones can amplify us and fill us up. But also sometimes that can also be a drain if the conversation isn't mutual. And again, that's where you get that list of priorities. If you always have a person in your life that drains you when you speak to them, then you need to make sure that your cup's full before you speak to them. And that's why they go on the non-negotiables list, the non-priority. It's about, just understanding yourself more deeply is always going to be an effective use of your time, because I'm all about, utilizing my feminine energy, which is the being in the moment, being free, having fun, having freedom. All of that stuff is beautiful. But I equally understand from living in toxic masculinity for a lot of my life, where structure, rigidness, moving forward, action was always a part of my life. I've now found a way to integrate both. So doing things like having the lists, doing the journaling, being aware, all of those things make a real beautiful harmony of like living life. And I think that's really where we get to harness our full power, our time, our energy, because we can see clearly where we want our energy to glow, where we want our energy to go and where we want it to flow. That's what I wanted to say. It came out in one word. So yes, I hope that's proved insightful. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to message me. My journal link will be in the bottom as well. So yeah, to round off, top tips are: write down the list of the things that are your strengths, are your weaknesses, are your talents, the things you're good at. And you can write the things you're not if you don't want to. That's absolutely fine. Then you're going to make time to do something on that list that makes you feel good or harnesses your strength. And if you want to dive into your weaknesses as well, what can you do that's in your strengths that will help develop your weaknesses? So, for example, if you are short-tempered, but you love to play sports, can you play sports a little bit extra in the week to tie in for the fact that you're getting road rage when you drive home from work? Could you drive straight to the gym and play badminton? And then that way you might alleviate some of that stress that you feel in the short temper. Things like that. So that is using our strengths and weaknesses there. Our boundaries, finding those lists, writing the lists of the people that are a priority and of people that aren't, and equally of the things to do that are priority and the things that aren't. Like sometimes it might be that the bedding needs to be washed, but equally, if you wash the bedding all day, you're not going to get to go for a walk when the weather's nice. It's things like this, so we can find our way to utilize our time, harness our energy, and also utilize and harness our power, because we are the most in power when we are in flow and in happiness. If we feel empowered when we are doing something that makes other people feel small, or doing a real actionable thing, that's inauthentic. Because if like being a leader makes you feel empowered, I hope it's because you love working with the people in your team, you love making them feel good. It's not because you like bossing people around. That's the fine line there. And that understanding obviously opens up so many doors for life and everything else in between. So I hope that provided insight for you on just some different things you can look at. It's a short episode today, but I wanted to keep it short and sweet, just to break up the guests. We're going to have some more guests coming on soon next week, so I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. But in the meantime, I hope you have a really beautiful week. I hope you're kind to yourself, and I hope you find ways to harness your power and your energy, because you so deserve to. And that is, again, what is going to shine your beautiful light out to the world. When you harness your power and your energy, when you feel good in yourself, your light shines so brightly and shines out onto the world and to everyone that you touch. So yes, lots of love as always, and I'll see you next time.
Permission to Shine with Charisse Bisram, self-love and empowerment mentor and facilitator. To work with me, head to my website or my social media platforms. platforms. I offer sessions such as workshops in schools and workplaces. I deliver talks, and I also have programs available, and I'm available for one-to-one sessions on a 6-month, 3-month and 6-week basis. My work is all about taking you through the journey of self-discovery all the way to true, authentic confidence and empowerment, unlearning and dismantling all of your limiting beliefs, getting to the root of who you are inside and building you up on a foundation of self-worth, self-acceptance, self-awareness and deep self-love. You are the only you there is, and that is your superpower.